How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we're hopefully going to get the engine into the Scirocco and get it to start. If we can't get it to start, hopefully we can get it to crank and kind of 90% done. So I'm going to do my best to get as much done as I can in this video. We've still got to get the engine out of the Scirocco, so we've still got to do that. We've then got to prep the engine bay, get that ready to accept the R32 engine, but then we've also got to finish the R32 engine and get that buttoned up and ready to go in. So we've got quite a bit to get on with in this video, but the one thing I do want to say, thank you to all the new subscribers. We are growing this channel at a phenomenal rate, and it's all down to you guys. The bigger we grow this channel, the more crazier builds we can do. I've got tons of stuff that I want to do on this channel with the cars. I'm very keen on making content based around affordable cars, based around real world cars. Don't get me wrong, maybe in the future we'll be working on a Ferrari, McLaren, Lamborghini, whatever, but I'm keen to keep this channel affordable, everyday driving cars. So if you want to be a part of this journey and watch what we do on this channel, please subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when I upload. And also, if you enjoy the content, give it a thumbs up, but also leave a comment and let me know what you like about the content. Let me know what you want to see, that sort of good stuff. But anyway, for now, let's get into today's video. Hopefully you enjoy it. Sit back, relax, let's go. So we have the Scirocco engine out. This is the, as I said before, the 1.4 twin charge. So it has a turbo and it has a supercharger. So about 160 brake, not a bad engine slash setup, but VW could have done it better. But yeah, so we've got that out with the gearbox. There's not much stuff really I need off this engine. But what we will be doing, as you can see, we need to remove the aircon pipes and fit the R32. I'm going to check the servo and the brake master, make sure they're all compliant. We're actually going to keep the Scirocco ABS unit. Originally I thought about changing it for the R32, but when I've checked the part numbers and looked at the revisions, the Scirocco is the latest version, and it's just simply a coding thing to accept the 6-cylinder instead of a 4-cylinder and the all-wheel drive, so that's not going to be an issue. The steering rack is the 3rd gen power steering rack, so we're going to keep that, whereas on the R32 it is a 2nd gen. So again, we're going to keep the steering rack, so that should keep it simple. The subframe will come off along with all the running gear, as in the drive shafts, the hubs, the suspension, they're all going to come off, and we're going to fit the R32 subframe and suspension and brake system. So next job, we're going to move the engine out of the way. We're going to start prepping the engine bay, fitting all the stuff that I need to fit, swap the subframes over, clean out the engine bay, give it a good wash. So the one thing we have got to do is change the cable shifters out of the Scirocco for the R32. I thought with them being both 6-speed, the cables would be the same, but they're not. The mounting points and everything else is different, where they actually fit onto the gearboxes, because the gearboxes are different. So we're going to change that. So prop might have to come back off, heat shields might have to come back off so we can get it out. But yeah, so we're going to prep the engine bay, get it ready to accept. While we're waiting for the parts, we're still waiting on parts for the engine. We're going to prep this, get it all ready, get it nice and clean, and yeah, get it ready to accept the engine. So just quickly off camera, I just got the aircon pipes routed correctly. They were slightly off and I couldn't figure out why, but then again, getting them routed correctly is vital in the build, because I want it to look like it left the factory with the VR6 lump or with the R32 lump in the car. The other thing I did, I went ahead and mounted the clutch slave cylinder pipe. As you can see, we removed the Scirocco one and fitted and mounted that back up to the firewall. And as you can see down here, we've got a mounting point for the bracket, and then that comes around to here. Also, we've also got the main loom from back to front, which is the battery loom, which goes underneath the main power supply, which goes from the battery to the front. This wire will connect up here to the there's like a jumper terminal here that you can jump. We've taken off the earth strap that goes to the battery, which would have been here. We've taken that off and just fastened that back down. There is an earth point that goes there, but I'll show you as we go. The next thing to do is to remove the live terminal. Okay, so again, we have our starter motors, so we got one for the R32 and one for the Scirocco. So that just simply clips in there, and then that goes to that terminal there, which I'll undo, and we will have on the other part of the wiring loom, which will attach to there, so that'll be its permanent feed. So yeah, we'll do that now. Disconnect that. This is why I do time lapses, because it's so difficult to film and work at the same time. It's so hard, guys. I've looked at fitting a body cam and all that sort of stuff, but yeah, it's so difficult to do it. But yeah, anyway, so we'll just quickly undo that. That'll come from there, and that's our main battery loom for the positive terminal on the Scirocco off and into the bunch of parts that we don't really need. But we're going to keep stuff just in case we need a screw, a part, whatever we need. Never throw anything away. That's the old Scirocco gear selector. Like I said, we got the R32 in. Never throw anything away until you've finished the build and you're driving in and you're fault free. Then you can start looking at throwing stuff away, but until then, keep everything. So round about here on the R32, we have a jumping point. So instead of going to the battery in the boot, if you need to jump start the car, you can go from the earthing point here and the live here. As you can see, we've got two pot rivets there, or threaded rivets there. So we need to do exactly the same on the Scirocco. And over here, look what VW have done. They've left us two holes, and if we take our M8 rivets, looks what fits perfectly in there. So we're going to get the rivets installed again, thanks to Nilsson. If you haven't got one of these tools, grab one of these tools. It will definitely help you if you're doing modifications or changes, or even if you just need to put a bracket somewhere. It just looks better, I feel. So we're going to get that riveted in, and then we can get the bracket fitted where we can attach this. And if you remember, we'd taken off the Scirocco live wire to the battery. This is what goes in its place. This is the jumper pack, so that goes there. Obviously we've attached that to where the Scirocco one would have come off, and then this one that goes from the battery here, trying to do it all one-handed, will attach to there. So I'll get it fitted up and then we'll get it all done, and I'll show you once I'm done. And just like that, it's done. As you can see, this comes from the battery, as I keep saying, and this one supplies the box there, which is all done, dusted. So that's in. We will obviously reroute some of the wiring, because we have got to do the wiring. Like I said, we've got to get the engine in, and then we can start splicing the wires and doing what we need to do. But we'll go over that either in this video or in another video, but I'm hoping to try and get the engine in and at least get it cranking in this video. So finally, the uprated clutch has turned up. This is the thing that's kind of been holding me back for putting the gearbox back into the engine and then putting the engine in the car. So this is a stage 1 clutch. It comes with a solid flywheel, comes with the clutch slave cylinder, and also all the hardware. So I'm going to get this bolted up now to the car, well, to the engine, and then we're going to get the gearbox on, give it a good clean, and then hopefully we can try and get this engine into the Scirocco today. Let's go. So obviously we've now got the clutch installed, the gearbox on. Obviously we've done the rear main. I fitted new secondary air pump mountings, and we've also got the transfer box on, and kind of gave it a quick clean up, nothing too crazy. It's basically ready now to go into the Scirocco. Now let's talk about the Scirocco very quickly. So I wanted to go ahead and make sure the engine bay was prepped and ready. I want to emphasize, when you're doing some sort of like swap like this, you've got to make sure everything that you can prepare for, you have prepared for, and you have accounted for. It's things like CV boots. Like I've replaced one of the CV boots on the drive shaft while the engine was out. Obviously pulled it out, did it dead easy. We are, just so you know, we are going to be replacing the whole prop shaft for a brand new one. I've got a new one on order. These donuts are about £90. There's 2 of these, one at the front, one at the back, and then you've got the central support bearing as well. That's also a kind of CV boot as well. That's again about 50 quid. So you're looking about 250 quid to refurbish that prop. You can get a brand new one for about 250 quid. So it makes sense to get a brand new prop. So I've ordered a brand new prop shaft. Yeah, we have got it all basically ready. I've had to replace one of the brake pipes as well that goes to the driver's side front. It broke when we was disconnecting from the flexi, so I've gone ahead and fitted and made a new brake pipe. So basically we're ready. We fitted the new shockers as well. So the shockers, or the coilovers, are on. Yeah, we're ready for the engine. Like I said, it's all about preparation, and I want to make sure that, you know, when this goes all back together, we've done everything, serviced, maintained, and rectified anything that's broken, we've accounted for. So let's do this. Let's get the R32 engine in this Scirocco. Let's go. Okay, let me give you guys an update to where we're at so far. As you can see, the engine is in. I've done the drive shafts. The drive shafts are all buttoned up and done. We've pretty much got this side of the front end done. Alternator, whatever else, crankshaft sensor, the vacuum pipes. Under here, where the injectors are, what I've done, I've cable tied the plugs for the injectors onto the injectors, because if they fall off, because the plugs have gone brittle, if they fall off, then we've got to take the manifold off to get to the injector plugs. So it's just a precaution. This loom here, which goes along this side here, had all broken up, so I just literally just replaced that and redid it. I've redone the spark plug loom as well. Coil packs are in, obviously, as you can see, they're all in, they're all done. We've done a secondary air pump delete. It only needs it when it first starts up to help the emissions get under control, but we've done a delete there and got rid of the pump, so that kind of just gives us a bit more area down there. Nothing crazy. We've got the clutch slave cylinder pipe in. We've got to bleed that, but there's no point bleeding it yet until we've finished with the brakes, which we can probably now top up and put some brake fluid in the system, because I'm pretty confident we've done with all the brake pipes, so we can start bleeding the brakes, bleeding the clutch, the gear cables, the gear selectors. They are on and attached. We've got the camshaft sensors all attached. We've got the wiring all done this side. We've got the plumbing done. We've got the heater matrices all pushed in and plumbed in. I had to modify the bottom heater matrix pipe that comes out the bulkhead. I don't know if that's going to leak, but we'll see. It was attached too long, so we had to shorten that, so we'll see what happens there. We are now moving over to the wiring side, obviously with the ECUs. This is the R32 loom ECU, and this is the Scirocco ECU. I need to unpin stuff out of this and make up the pin, the 94 pin for the R32. This part is just the engine loom, so that will just plug straight in. No modifications there, but it's just this plug and that plug that I need to swap some pins over, which we're getting ready for. So we are probably about 60 to 70% complete on the engine install. Again, I've still got some brackets to put in for the air box and obviously the air induction, the air intake pipe. I want to leave all that so I can concentrate and crack on with the pinning of the ECU. Obviously, we're going to have to do some coding and bits and pieces, but I just thought I'd give you an update to show where we're at. Obviously, I'm taking my time doing this because, you know, I'm rectifying things that may be broken or not quite right, insulating wiring harnesses. So once it's done, it's done. Yeah, so I'm just kind of doing it right, or as best as I can. We've still got the exhaust to go on and the prop shaft to be buttoned up. Again, like I said, I have ordered a new prop shaft, but not sure when that's going to be here. So I want to try and at least get this car cranking today, if not started. I'm trying to figure out how we can get it started. We will need the R32 clocks plugged in. It is a different plug in the R32 to the Scirocco, so I could wire both plugs in, at least so we get it to start, and then do something later on. But anyway, that's where we're at, guys. I'm going to crack on and finish off this part over here. I've still got the main earth lead to attach from the chassis to the engine, so we'll get that done. So yeah, we are on our way to having this baby ripping around the streets. I'm going to shut up. Let's get on with the video. Okay, let's give you another update how far we've gone. I am literally on the home stretch, but the last bits have absolutely annihilated me. I've had that many issues with the exhaust, not for fitting, but on the R32 it has a valve at the back. I've had loads of issues with that valve trying to keep it open because someone deleted it before but didn't do a very good job. So I've deleted it properly. So the exhaust has been on and off, on and off, on and off. The front pipes and the cats were pretty easy to fit, not going to lie. That was straightforward. Bled the clutch, bled all the brakes. They bled perfectly well. I had to re-bleed the clutch. I did use a pressure bleeder to do the brakes, and they seem to come out okay. However, I haven't started it, and I road tested it, so we'll maybe have to revisit that. The clutch needed bleeding a couple of times, so I bred it first with the pressure bleeder, and then I manually did it from inside the car. So yeah, I'm still pretty nervous, I'm not going to lie. I've done the timing chain, I've done the clutch. You know, the clutch is a stage one. I've never used one of these clutches, so I don't know what it's going to be like or feel like. The timing chain should be spot on, but it's still a nervous thing, you know. But I did have problems with the modified fuel tank, and let me just show you why. As you saw in the last video, we have to use the R32 fuel tank, but with the Scirocco filler neck. And obviously we've got the breather system behind there, which I've linked all up, and that's all okay. This was the pain. And the reason for that is because we are using marine submersible fuel grade pipe, I believe that's how you say it. And this stuff is strong. It has like a metal core spiraling around like a metal spring. Getting that to seal on here was like, getting it to seal on the plastic pipes was really hard. So yeah, it's sealing now. I've tried it, I've put some fuel in it, it's not leaking. So I'm pretty pleased with that. It doesn't look out of place either. I feel it looks a bit almost like, you know, you can separate the filler neck from the fuel tank, which obviously you can, but I did have a few issues with that. Obviously, you know, I've said to you guys before, we got new pads and discs for this, but for the maiden voyage, we're just going to go and do a shakedown, obviously if it starts and runs. So we've just bled the brakes. Obviously we're going to get calipers to you in to sort out the calipers, and now we've got the fuel issue sorted, I can go ahead and put this wheel lining in. I've already done the other side. So let's look in the boot. Been a few videos since you guys have seen the boot. Nothing really to report other than we have the junction box in along with the main loom all the way in and running round just loosely for now. I've got to run that properly. That's not wired in yet. We'll get that all wired in. I'm not sure if we're going to actually need most of it either, because some of that's for the alternator wire, but anyway, we'll get into that when we start to do the wiring. So we've got it all wired in anyway. The battery's on. I've operated the locks, the central locking, everything, you know, the central locking, all that sort of stuff works. So I suppose the next step would be to try and crank the car. We have got to sort out the fuel pump and the secondary fuel pump slash Haldex wiring, which I'll go through either in this video or in another video. The main purpose for this video was to show you guys we get the engine in, we get it pretty much buttoned up 90%, and try and start the car. Okay guys, moment of truth. We've got all this way, and the least we could get it to do in this video at least is to crank. Fingers crossed. Here we go. Ignition on, got a bit of noise at the front. Here we go. Get in, get in. So it's cranking, which is fantastic. It won't start. Obviously we've got no spark, we've got no fuel, we've got no fuel pump running. The main core, yeah, okay, I know you're beeping. Stop, I realise, I know. The main objective with today's video is to get this pretty much buttoned up, other than the wiring. I think the wiring will require its own video, if I'm honest with you, because I do want to share wiring this beauty in. I think the wiring we will do on a separate video, because I do want to share that with you and show you how easy or hard it is. I don't know, I'm not afraid of wiring, I actually quite enjoy it, so, but I'll show you maybe in another video, it's dedicated for that. That way you guys, if ever you want to attempt this conversion yourself, you can go back and watch that video. So, we have got it firing, it is turning over, which is fantastic, which in it sounds on point. We did lose a bit of oil down the bore when I took out the spark plugs, due to there being an oil leak from the cam cover gasket. So once it eventually fires, we may see a bit of blue smoke, but it won't be anything to worry about. But anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's give you inspiration like it has me. I have pushed so hard this week to get this car to this point. It is just... So thanks to all the new subscribers. Guys, we are on our way. I cannot thank you guys enough for all your love and support on this channel. But for now, guys, I hope you're all well. Take care. I'll see you guys on the next one.
Yeah, can't fool flexing cause they know I got the sauce. Got the presents on me, I can't ever take it off.